Good morning, student. Architecture 113 International Building Code. Today we will discuss about special requirement on use and occupancy. So basically you learn how to use not how to use, but you know some of them about the fire material, fire contraction, mean of egress, and right now we discuss more about special requirements based on the use and occupancy. Occupancy, when you hear about occupancy, you're thinking about the people, the group of people. So that's why we go out with the group of building. In this chapter, we need to learn something about the cover for the mall building, what you need to do for the qualify for the structure from the high-rise building, how to do require element for fire command center, and you need to define some kind from atrium use, maximum travel distance. After that, we also have some difference between the platform and the stage, what the structure from that's one, and what kind of fire barrier in the group. For example, group I1 occupancy, what you need to do for classify for occupancy condition, or other group I1, R1, R2, R2, something like that. So you need to learn about what different type of uses, and also what you need to do for the structure in that group of people. This is one example for the mall, and they require for the minimum is 20 feet, from the horizontal one. The width from the building cannot smaller than 20 feet. And after that, if you have masonite, you need to have the clear width with that one. This is the tunnel space for that, and one more time, 20 feet is the minimum if you want to design for inside from the mall for that the requirement. And beside of that one, you need more clear width, 8 feet minimum for the ceiling height. And after that, if you have some vending machine and you need to verify clear width for the chair or the table around that area. So basically all of them you need to go with the book one. And if you have the high buildings, it's greater than 75 feet, you need to have the ladder outside for design from the lowest, from the fire department vehicle access to up to the occupied floor. And if you have the atrium in the buildings, you need to have to do for something prevent for the spread from the fire by the smoke control system, keep the building atrium clear, and the smoke that's safe for existing may be complement the one that complete through the atrium. So this is the concept one you need to follow. If you have many level in the building and you need to design for interior access stairway, both sides, if they have different level and they have requirement. For example, this one they have between the building they have different kind from the grade level, and they need the sprinkler on the top one if it's greater than 30 feet, and they have type 1 for construction on the down one, that means the lowest level. After that, they need the access from each of the way. For the highest one, we have the access for the charge, and from the left one, you need to have for the highest access chair, the charge for that one. So basically on the building, even you have different level on the grade level and very high one, we have the way how to solve the for the protect underground building also. And in one of the buildings, you need to know the general for your opening. Usually they call that the opening. For exterior wall, we have to do the uniform for opening for 2 or more side. You can do 4 side, 3 side, but minimum you have to open for at least 2 side. From this one, this is one side, the other side, and each of them have for example, this one they say one side, the short one, they have A plus B plus C opening, D, E. All of them should be larger than 20% for total perimeter from the building, perimeter right here. And the length A plus B plus C plus D lot is the length. It should be larger than 40% from total area from perimeter of each tier. So that means the length 20%, but the area from the opening should be larger than 40% from total the perimeter area or the perimeter from the length. If you have in the building, for example, this one, they have group I1, condition 2 hospital, and you need the access. The access is independent egress. We can get out independent, not go with another one. And they need some more concern. For example, this one, on the door between the paths of travel, you need to have 20 minutes opening. And they have one rule you need to set up on the code for make sure the patient room and the nurse station and the servant area, they need to go maximum travel is 200 feet. That's the maximum from the beginning, from the point of to get out from the access one. Maximum is 200 feet only. You cannot do longer because this is the hospital. Patient, nurse, and every people needs to go fast to the service or outside from the building. If you have the building, for example, they have the residential building for the house area, they need to have the visual observation. That means they can see for 23 feet maximum for the view of the vision, and after that inside from the house they have the view outside with this one. And if you have, this is the stage, and they have the roof for the stage. For example, the stage with the curtain, and they need to have 2 hours for the fire resistant rate in that wall, in the level from the curtain, the access both side, and after that inside here between the room in the back side from the stage, they need 2 hours separate. That means the wall right here, the wall right here should be 2 hour contraction. In the building larger than the height is 50 feet, they use if the 2 hour, if they have smaller than 50 feet, and they need to use 1 hour contraction. Separate wall between the room behind from the stage. This is the stage. The smoke control and the roof vent required by stage larger than 1,000 square feet when the stage is higher than 50 feet, and they need to use for the smoke control. This is some examples, so you can see this is the platform section. They have 30 inches maximum. If you call that the platform, it is 30 inches maximum for the distance and the height. And after that, the structure, they need the fire rate, wood permit in Taiwan 2 and 3, 1 to 5, where the platform size is height limit. It go to the high limit. So the platform limit to 3,000 square feet, but in no case more than 1/3 from the room area. So its maximum is 3,000 square feet, and it cannot be 1/3 from the room area. Oh, this side is some kind like the design for the amusement building. The amusement building will be classified for Group A occupancy, and the hazards associated with such the unit are addressed through the provision from detection of the fire, illumination or existing path, and the presence of an alarm and emergency voice. So that's why the system for the amusement building, they need to do for sprinkler system, number one for structure. When you use sprinkler system, and the other construction can be lower with the rate. For example, you have 2 hour rate around the wall, but if you use sprinkler inside from the building, that's one you can change to 1 hour or 1 hour and a half raise from the wall. This is some kind of crab hanger. They need to design from 30 feet maximum from the wall, exterior wall for that building, and each of them is would be larger than 30 feet for the fire race outside wall like this. And they need the fire race also. Also the furnace room, they need the furnace room, that means heating equipment located with 2 hours separate. They have the wall right here, 2 hours separate. Okay, this area. And inside from the building, if we see horizontal, vertical, and remember, we have horizontal with the staircase like this, and horizontal should be 1 hour fire rate on the roof and the ceiling and the floor. If they have non-sprinkler system, if they have the sprinkler system, this one can be changed to lower than fire rate system. If we have example for this one, we have 3 building like this, and we have 2 levels, the first, the second, and the third. The first one, they have 3 exterior wall, this one side and then back, same thing with this one, front, side, and back. But on the top one, we have 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 side, 4 side exterior wall, and all of them should be fire rate 1 hour. Barrier wall separation between building to the building, and the roof and the ceiling should be 1 hour separate for both the building. This is the table. They let you know the design, the number control area, and how many hours for construction, how high from the building. So we go with the table chart like this. So this one is location allows for the mixed use. The mixed use, that means in a building they have different kind from occupancy group. And for example, this is Act 2. Act 2 is hazardous 2. Occupant larger than 1,000 square feet. They need minimum 30 feet from the exterior wall. Like before, we have one example. So they need 30 feet minimum for the outside wall. And of course, outside wall, they need to separate between occupancy, depend on the table. Another table chart, they can give you some of the let's see, the mechanical uses, and after that we depend on the division with the solids or the leakage, and after that we have the way how to do for design with the maximum allowable quality or not for the building. Okay, so this is they have some example for, you can see this, the spray room, the spray booth, and the limit spray space. Depend for each of them, we need to separate by 1 hour fire rate, automatic fire extinguisher, or you need to do from mechanical ventilation. Hazardous location, why? It depends on the purpose for you use it. You use spray room, you use the spray booth, or you use the limit spray space, and you need to change the part inside from the design. This is another example for drawing or sleeping unit, and they need to separate with the wall like this. If you use for non-separate, and this one should be limit for 50% of the floor plan, locate the first main floor axis, 5 residential, non-residential worker. This is the worker area, and after that high hazard for the store use as the permits one. So we know the limit from where do you leave it on, and you design for some people can work there, and if like this, and you call that the high hazard for the story use, not the permit limit to the story. If this one is the hazard, we cannot use that, so it's not allowed. But they limit 50% from the unit floor maximum for 5 non-residential worker. That means smaller than that. And the area for this one is 3,000 square feet. And you can do the wall separate between working and residential area. You don't need to separate wall requirement for this one, but they have some kind of limit from the people working in the area. This is another example, so you can see many units in one building, and you can call that different name and separate between them units for 1 hour, separate wall between each unit together. And same thing like that, if you have 2 levels in one unit and the separate horizontal between that one unit for 1 hour, or you need to separate by separation by the contraction fire rate, this one, if you have 2 levels. And this one is 2 floor in same building, and they have around 22,500 square feet. They need to separate by smoke barrier, and after that they require for facility for 10,000 square feet, but this one is 22,000 square feet. So basically this one we need to smoke barrier between both of building. And finally, we can learn from something from the storm shelter, depend on its area, from its location. You can use some kind different for operation facility for the you deliver everything on a different area or in a community due to the unpredictable. So it usually it's very hard to do for something else happen. For example, you need to have warning time for tornado, or you need high wind events, something like that. It just assume before we start. So that means it can change suddenly, it can change for that one. So basically, beside of that, we need to focus on continuous the history, many years, or something happened in that area, location, in the history. For example, right now you see from tornado or something, it usually on the in the center or is the east coast. You didn't see on the west coast. However, in the west coast we usually have some kind like earthquake or disease, some disaster, something like that. So that means beside of everything, we can assume we try the best to do for very good code qualification. So that's why on 3 years we have to change for the code. We have many amendments for the codes for make sure that all people can use the codes for the qualified design construction in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.